What is up everyone, my name's Al from GamesRib, and today we're going to be discussing, that's right, the Vectrex emulator. That's right, so Vectrex was a console that not a huge amount of people that I certainly know ever went out and purchased. Bearing in mind, I'm 34, so I believe the console came out way before my time. Although it's not really a console, as you can see, it's more of an arcade cabinet based around vector graphics. Now, obviously, it's now become a bit of a resurgence. It's really happening because people are seeing these games and just kind of in awe of what the Vectrex was trying to do. Now, the thing we're actually looking at today is the Vectrex emulator for the Sega Dreamcast, helmed by Ian Michael. Now, bearing in mind, this is not going to be perfect because this came out in 2003, so this was really early days Ian Michael project. This was kind of a real quick rushed project. This was never done to finalization, etc. This was trying to just see if this actually could be done, and I actually think it's actually pretty decent for what has actually been done and what it really could have been. Now you're probably saying, well Alex, is it actually any good? And I'm saying, well viewers, let's take a look. So here it is, as you can see with his trademark IMR Technology 2003. This is it. This is Ian Michael's take on the Vectrex being emulated on the Sega Dreamcast. Now, as I said, we cannot be expecting the world from this because this is by far not perfect. But as you can see straight off, this looks pretty cool, right? This looks pretty close to the Vectrex. Now, the one main issue I'd say straight off the bat is sound. The sound, as you can hear, it just sounds a little bit rocky almost. Although sound effects in game aren't really affected. I mean, they are affected, but you know, at the end of the day, Vectrex was kind of beeps. There was no real sort of tonal melody to it. Well, I say tonal melody. Well, nothing that really I'd class as music or a soundtrack. So really, does that make a shit of difference? Not really. I actually think it doesn't really affect it all that much. So although there's a bit of a bad side there, it's really not that bad. Now, there's not a huge amount of range of controls really required for the Vectrex. It's basically the D-pad for steering, as well as a couple other buttons. So for example, with pole position, you're basically just pressing a throttle or a brake button and steering left to right. And obviously Froggy, you just saw there, yeah, you're using the D-pad and jump, but that really is all, you know, there is. I mean, the Vectrex had a few buttons, but they very rarely did all that much. Now, the thing I also do like is it seems to emulate the kind of humming effect in the background, the kind of phase or the fuzziness, you know, that would be seen on a vector screen, which I think is absolutely fantastic and really does show emulation working well, because it really is actually emulating. It's not just showing straight lines as in without any sort of hum or glimmer or whatever. It's actually mimicking it, which is what an emulator really should do. Now, the great thing with this collection is it does come with basically the hits, the titles that most people know the Vectrex for. Like I said, you got Pole Position, you got Frogger, and then we've also got my absolute favourite. Now, this is absolutely the reason that I would want to own a Vectrex. Now, I've obviously played Berserk on a Vectrex. That's right, I played it at... Where did I play it? It might have even been... Was that one of the Comic-Cons or was it E3? I can't remember. I think they might have had a retro area with that there. I can't actually remember. But either way, that was the best game I played on the Vectrex. I think it's such an awesome game. It's maze-driven. There's enemies you're shooting. And, you know, you also get the evil Otto, basically the bouncy ball with a smiley face. The guy you need to make sure to stay the hell away from. But this, for me, is the best version of Berserk. Now, obviously, there are versions on the Atari, the various versions, and I just don't think they're all that great compared to the actual Vector version we've got here on the Vectrex. This, for me, is the best way to play this game. I just think it looks so good. I love the music, I love the sound effects, but but it does have issues on this emulator, which is a shame, but these could be corrected if worked on for a little bit longer. Now, there's really not much to say here apart from this was a passion project that was basically just a starting project for Ian. I mean, we know full well what he does today, which is absolutely fantastic, but this was a starting platform, and I think this was actually pretty damn decent. Yeah, there's issues, but you can see exactly what he was trying to do, and I actually think it's pretty damn playable. I've been Al from Games Rep. I hope you've liked this nice little look at the Vectrex emulator playing on the Sega Dreamcast. Like, comment and subscribe. I'll see you all soon. You can now support the channel on patreon.com/GamesRep, as well as remember to like, comment and subscribe.